Sup, sisters? This is Rachel and Rebecca checking in. So I quit my job last week. Wait, I thought we ghosted him. I'm starving. Wait, what are you wearing? Age is just a number. No, we can do anything.
Welcome to today's episode of the Brutally Honest podcast. Today is our topic episode where basically we just go over some musings we've been thinking about recently and we bring it to the pod.
Dare I say these are pretty deep thoughts that we have today.
They're good ones.
I need people to get in just ready to reflect mindset.
Really just take a look at your life, taking stock.
Yes.
And that's what today is, but with a fun flair.
Oh, always with a fun flair.
Yeah, one thing about us is, look, I try to do the serious in the background music, but I'm just too matter of fact.
No, those podcasts. Yeah, exactly. Where the clips are and I was single forever.
It's bum, 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 bum. I just can't.
It's not us.
I just can't. But that doesn't mean we can't still get there.
I was going to say, but I feel like we are very practical.
Exactly.
But also dreamers and also I feel like we just say things how they kind of are. And look, life is hard sometimes.
Totally.
Bottom line.
Yes.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It's also great.
Life is, the whole spectrum of life is just there.
Well, and life also is just the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
What are we even doing? No, I'm serious.
No, it actually is the Matrix.
It really is the
Our
Matrix.
life is the Matrix. Truly, I am a firm believer. But I think the perfect intro for today's episode is welcome, and your life didn't turn out exactly how you planned or how you thought it would. So welcome to the club.
And welcome to the club.
And here you are. And here we all are. And I feel confident saying that to every single person listening to this podcast. Your life did not go exactly how you had planned. And in some ways, not even how you wanted it to at all. And in some ways for the better.
Right.
And in some ways, honestly, probably for the worse, where you're if I could write my life, this part may not be part of it, frankly.
I would be happy living on the beach with a house. Who's to say I wouldn't be happy?
Who's to say you didn't just have generational wealth and never had to work or worry a day in your life?
I think I would be so happy retired. No, I'm serious. Literally, I could fill up my days and be so happy retired.
I know. Some people are worried about retirement. I'm man, I've got some good hobbies. I'm let me share.
No, but on a real note, what's so interesting is no one comes out of life unscathed.
No.
And here we are, we're all in this human experience, and we all share similar emotions, probably to different degrees, and it's because of different things, but we all have had loneliness. We've all had disappointment. We've all had rejection at some point or another. And it's part of the shared human experience.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is nothing is perfect. And the crazy part is it's not supposed to be.
No.
Even though we want it to.
Yes. Well, I was just thinking about how much time we spend or people spend putting up a good front or making things seem to be perfect when there is not a single person, place, thing, or life that is perfect on this earth at this time right now. If I asked you at this time on earth, is there anyone that is perfect or that has a perfect life? No. Not a single soul. And yet it's so interesting because we spend a lot of time and we all do this. Everyone just wants to be positive. It's you don't want to be a Debbie Downer all the time. And so you're no, in general, things are good.
Right.
But I think also then sometimes it creates weird feelings, or not weird, but it's just hard feelings that sometimes you feel lonely in the fact that you feel you're the only one that has things that you're struggling with or that aren't going the way you think that they should.
Well, it's hard also because there is dissonance to it. Mm-hmm. It's stuff where it's just to your point, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be sad all of the time. No. But also there's stuff that I really wished and I really wanted, and I really hoped for, and it's not happening, and it hasn't happened, and I don't know if it will happen.
Yeah. And and there's still stuff that's hard. And so sometimes there's trying to strike this balance of I want to talk about it with the right people in the right places and not all the time. But then sometimes it's man, I feel I've never found the right people, the right place, or the right time. And so I'm just kind of carrying this around by myself.
Yeah.
And and it's hard. Or even there are some things that you just or don't really want to voice because maybe they're materialistic, or you're yeah, I kind of have this, but I kind of wish I didn't. I didn't wish I felt this way, but I do. Should we go over some of the things?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I think today, our whole purpose is to air this out with you, to work through some things with you, and just tell people I'm not alone in this.
Yeah,
but let's go through some of the things. I think the bottom line is if you feel some of these apply to you, you're not alone.
Yeah, and you're in the right place.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, first one. your job isn't as great as you want it to be. Next, you could be struggling with infertility. You thought you'd be married by now.
You have health challenges that prevent you from living the way that you want to live. You're lonelier than you expected. You thought you'd figure out what you actually want to do by now or what you actually love. You have no sense of direction.
You thought you or your husband would be at a certain place in your career right now. You thought you'd have more money than you'd have right now. You thought you'd have the house, the kids, the life that you've been picturing by now, but you don't.
Your kids aren't what you thought they were going to be.
And you thought you just have it figured out by now. And you don't know what you're doing.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome. That felt very deep. We got deep with those. I was like, whoa, we're here. You know, it's like, we're here, Beyonce. Or she's like, things were harder than you expected them to be. I think also is a huge one. You're like, man, life is just kind of hard.
Or you've just been like grinding and grinding and grinding. And it's just like, I am getting nowhere.
Yeah.
And then like, this just is not, like, I'm not having fun.
Yeah. Double click on the I'm just not having fun with some things. You're like, the time isn't the timing.
Like, yeah, like, this sucks.
Yeah. Or it's just like, used to be like you're trudging through mud sometimes.
Yeah.
You're like, your life doesn't feel like you're on a skateboard. You're like, I am in the mud just trying to take steps forward. And look, I'm a happy gal.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just feel like I'm in mud, like moving in slow motion. And one thing I wanted to say with this is that unexpected doesn't always mean bad. Like, I think when we talk about life not turning out the way you want it to, I think there are a lot of ways in which that's a good thing. Where like, it turned out better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, like unexpected doesn't equal bad, but there are some things that are just hard regardless, that it's like, yeah, this is actually really hard. Pardon the brief interruption, but if any part of this episode is resonating with you, we have a huge favor to ask you.
If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast and give us a thumbs up.
And if you're on Apple, Spotify, or any other platform, follow us and leave us a 5-star review. It helps us out so much, and we love and appreciate you guys. Now back to the episode.
What's difficult is like sometimes, to your point, it's for the worse.
Yeah.
And you don't know that right now, but in that moment, it does feel like it's like the worst.
Yeah.
And it's just like, also sometimes I've had these like dreams or like things that I've wanted. And it's like, these are not bad things that I've wanted.
Totally.
Also, like, I feel like I've been living my life in like a good way. Like I am a good person.
Yeah.
And so it's really confusing when it's just like, no, these are like good things that I'm wanting, but like they're not happening.
Yeah.
And I don't really know why, if that makes sense. And like, it's just the way it is sometimes.
Yeah. I think a really extreme example is like your kid getting cancer, for example, where it's like, actually, no, that was hard. Like that was something unexpected that was really hard, that I'm not going to try to spin and be like, yes, you learn and grow from everything that happens in your life. And unfortunately, the learning and growing and the stretching oftentimes happens in really difficult circumstances that if you could change, you would in the drop of a hat.
Yeah. And like, I think the hard reality is that sometimes not all of our dreams are realized. And like, that hurts so bad. And like, and it's almost to the point where it's just like, you don't even want to like face that fact. Totally. Where it's just like, no, I had this dream and like, it didn't happen.
Literally, it's I dreamed a dream from Les Mis.
Yeah.
And it's like, I dreamed this dream and what am I doing here?
Yeah. And so sometimes I feel like you get to the point where it's just like, well, nothing that I've planned has gone right. And so it gets to the point where it's just like, well, what's the point of even dreaming if nothing's going to happen? What's the point of planning if like I've been planning all of these things and nothing happens? Like, what's the point of even trying if it's not going to end up how I want it to?
I had a huge phase where it was just like everything fell out of my control.
Yeah.
It's like life is so far out of my control. There are like 3 things I can control. And even if you try to focus on those 3 things, it's like, I'm sorry, I just like cannot see with glasses on. When I have glasses on, I'm like partially blind. I'm like wearing blue light glasses and I'm like, can't see a thing. Anyways, I can control 3 things and okay, great. It's like, okay, I'm going to go to school and come home every day and eat dinner. And like, that's it. Cause that's what I can control. But it's so hard because then you don't do anything.
No.
Because you're just like, hey, if I make these plans and anything can happen tomorrow, I can wake up tomorrow and anything can happen and it can get derailed in a singular second. So what is the point of doing anything outside of just like the very traditional, what you consider to be risk adjusted path of just like, well, I'm just going to plod along on my life and hope for the best.
And that's like the worst place to be. I feel like I've like was living in that like the past like 8 years where it was just like life is just passing me by. I'm making these like literally risk adjusted, least risky decisions ever. And just like doing it because like, it's something that I thought I was supposed to do. And like, it just felt like so out of control. Like it's just like, I'm not living my life and therefore I don't have fulfillment. I don't have passion. And like these things that I've like always wanted in the background, just like I keep waiting for them to happen, but like nothing happens.
Totally. Well, and I think if we want to get specific here, it's hard because it's like, okay, for example, for you, like, oh, I want to get married and it's like, I can't control when I meet my husband.
Right.
And for me, it's like, oh, I was paralyzed. I can't control how much I heal. And so it's like, okay, I have these large blocks in my life that I just can't control. And then the feeling of loss of control bleeds into your whole life.
Exactly.
It starts feeling cool because then you start applying that same thing to everything else. And you're like, man, I can't control literally anything. Yeah. So yeah, you just wake up, you do the same thing, you go to bed. And then the next day you wake up, do the same thing, go to bed.
And you become just like a robot with like an emotionless robot.
No, you're numb.
Yeah, you're numb. You're numb to life. And like, I feel like the vibrancy of life just like leaves.
No. Yeah. And it's just nothing feels, and what's hard is when you're in this place, you don't really recognize it.
No, you don't.
You
don't
think
at
that
all.
you're a happy person
Totally.
because you think that the way to become a happy person is to numb out these things.
Exactly.
And just be like, you know what? This is my life. I am just gliding on the ice of life, just like so even keel all the time. No, you're missing out.
It's numbness.
No, you've numbed out half of it. And so that's why you're able to be okay.
So I've been listening to this audiobook. I know, crazy. I've been like reading, guys.
She's a scholar.
Called Awareness by Anthony DeMello. I'm not even that far in. Yeah. But basically his whole premise is that like we live life asleep. To where like, look, you like fall in love when you're asleep. You like get married when you're asleep. Like sometimes you just like keep going through the motions and it's just like you're asleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what's interesting is he says that basically we don't want to wake up. And the irony is oftentimes the times when people wake up is when they experience pain and loss and like so much pain where people are just like, wait, I can't live like this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and so the irony is like a lot of times like we avoid pain, like as a human nature, like protecting ourselves, like we avoid pain. And I think the irony of life is like, you're supposed to lean into it. Yeah. And like, that's how you feel things. And so when we talk about like being numb and like, sometimes you feel apathetic about life and that's a scary place to be. Apathy is the opposite of love. And it's not hate. Like, I think it's better to hate your life because like you're moving and I like, there's just like some emotion there, but when you get apathetic, like, I just don't think life is supposed to be lived like that.
Because apathy is inactive. It's passive. Because hate is an active emotion. Do I think hate is the goal? Absolutely not. But sometimes when you hate something, you are closer to moving into changing than you are when you're apathetic to things. And sometimes I think the moments are when you're laying in bed at night crying and you're like, where am I? What am I doing? Yeah. It's almost like you wake up right before you go to sleep. You literally it's like you're laying in bed at night and you're like, holy cow, where am I and where have I been? Yeah. You know that moment you have where it's like, where have I been? Yeah. Like you literally are realizing,
literally like, what am I doing?
You realize you've been asleep.
Yes.
You're like, where am I? And it's like, and sometimes it's like you think back to your younger self and you're like, what? She wouldn't want this. No. Like, she doesn't want me to be sitting here miserable, waking up, going to the same job every single day. Like, what am I doing here? Yeah. Literally, it's the what am I doing here moment. And I remember 6 months ago, maybe not a full 6, but I remember it was when we were in our last house. I remember one day I just said, I was like, I love my life now. Like, I just love my life, like so actively. And my whole thing was like, I accept my life as a whole. I think I've been what my strategy a long time has been like just picking and choosing the parts that I love and trying to focus on the things that I love, which I do think is a healthy thing. But I was like, you know what? No, I love all of it. Like the things that are really hard, I'm going to love every single piece of my life. And it was the most painful next few days I've ever had. The next day on the way to the gym, I'm like crying. Because when you love your life and something goes wrong, it's so much harder because you care. Like when you allow yourself to care, things hurt more. Because when you don't care, it just doesn't hurt anymore. And so I think that's what's so hard. That's like the hardest thing about it is when you open yourself up to the pain, you live more. But at the same time, like but the crying and the pain is part of it. And that's how you prove to yourself, you're like, no, I care about me.
That's what's so interesting is like literally the more joy and deeper you can get on that level, you feel it like also equivalents to the pain. But then if you live in this like middle ground, like you've got no emotion or wiggle room anyway. So yeah, it's just like means that you care. And so that's why it's so hard when like dreams that you have or things that you want don't happen, because it is devastating.
Absolutely.
Like it is. And so like oftentimes I feel like going back to the numbing thing, it's just like instead of feeling it, you just like numb it out. And so it's ironic not going back to the book that I was talking about, but I'm going back to the book. Like he kind of talks about like sometimes he like doesn't agree with psychologists and therapists, because it's just like you're kind of like numbing out a little bit of the pain. And like I do think there's like a healthy part of that, but like yeah, you like, I don't know, it just means that you care.
Yeah.
It just means that you care.
And I think sometimes this information helps you wake up and be like, hey, something has to change. Like, and I think a lot of it is like, you have to change.
Yeah. Also, sometimes it gets like, you kind of get to a place too, where it's just like, you don't feel good about yourself. You like, what you defined as success, you're not that person. And so then you start like trusting yourself.
Yeah.
Gets really dark.
You know, it gets really dark. And what's so hard is so many of these things are out of your control. A lot of things, like I'm looking at our list and it's like, yeah, infertility, okay, you can't control that. Like so many things, like there are things you can do in some scenarios, but so many times it's like, you're there and what are you going to do? But
it's hard too, because you compare yourself to other people and it's like, well, they have it figured out. Like they have the big house, like they have the perfect kids, like they have this. Like, why can't, it hasn't happened to me. Why can't I have that?
Yeah. And you're like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
No, totally. And so I think this brings us to like the next step of what do you do about it? Because you're here and the whole goal isn't to wallow. Like wallowing doesn't get you anywhere. And so I think it's like, okay, you're here, you have these uncontrollable things in your life that are really hard, that are really painful. Where do we go?
Yeah. To your point, like you can't wallow in it, but you have to feel like the intensity of the pain. Like I think like that's when it's just like, wake up. Okay. Like life isn't what I want. And like, I don't know, like I think like taking almost a step back from yourself and like almost like witnessing yourself experiencing these things from like a third party view, I think is actually really healthy. It's just like, okay, I like see myself experiencing this pain. Like, why is that? It's like, okay, that's important to me. Okay, I don't have that right now. So like, let's shift.
Yeah.
We got to figure something out. I don't know. You have to get to the point where it's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. So like, let me like either change course or direction or like find joy in my life and choose that.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I think like what we were saying earlier, where it's so easy to let like one part of your life permeate the whole entire thing. Yeah. Or like one viewpoint that you have permeate the entire thing. And so I think what I have written down is that the antidote to this is action. Like the biggest thing, like when you're feeling stuck, I think this creates a big feeling of feeling stuck.
Oh my gosh, you feel so stuck.
And the biggest thing you can do is prove to yourself that you still can act. And I think, because I think like your brain like proves itself right all the time. So like if you have a belief that you're like, I'm stuck, your brain just looks all the time for all the ways that you're stuck. Yeah. And so I think when you start to act, you're proving to your brain that there is an alternative pathway to what it's like, to its own self-belief.
Literally the whole point of therapy is to get yourself to a place where it's just like, I am acting as if something is true. And so then therefore my brain realizes that it's true.
Yeah.
Also, it's just like, okay, grieve this thing that you have, but like your life isn't over. Like there is still purpose in your life. There's purpose in everything. And I think you need to go through also a period of like reframing, like what is my life's purpose? Like what's the purpose of life? And like, I think the healthiest way that you can reframe that is like, I am here to learn.
Yeah.
Like literally life is just like a learning ground. Yeah. Like how can I learn and grow?
Totally.
So painful.
I was actually talking to our dad last week when everyone was out of town. We were having our solo dinners.
Fun. So cute.
we were talking about purpose and just how purpose is like really hard to find.
It's so hard.
Like it's just not obvious. But it was funny. I was sitting with myself later that night and I was thinking about my purpose. And I realized that I think your purpose changes over time, but I was like, I feel like I'm in a phase right now where my purpose is proving to myself that I can accomplish things that I never thought I would be able to.
Yeah.
And even just like things that I'm not even sure that I could do, and setting goals and like shooting my shot in ways that I truly just don't know if I can achieve them. And I think stretching myself and just proving to myself that I can do things that I just never thought I would be able to do.
So true.
And I think with that, what I've been thinking about is the beliefs that we hold so near and dear to our hearts about like who we are and what we can and can't do are the beliefs that we never think to question. Like those in our minds become facts. For example, like it was a fact in my brain that I couldn't run a half marathon. It was a fact in my brain of like, I could never host a Pilates event with 50 people. And these things like seem like pretty surface level to a lot of people. But like for me, I'm like, no, there were truly a time where I was like, I just don't think I can do that. Like there's just no way, like who would I even have to come? I can't physically do that. But those are the beliefs we need to question. Like we hold them as facts and they're just not facts. They're completely malleable. No, it's not real. And like how I define myself just like is incorrect.
And like for some reason, somewhere along the way, you've decided that.
Exactly.
I don't know. And maybe it's because someone told you that, or that's like how you grew up in social constructs. But like, I think questioning everything, the good and the bad, it's like, it's so key.
Totally.
To, I don't know, the self-work that comes from this.
And I just think like and it's not like the most successful people, but I think sometimes the happiest people are just, they think, why not me? Like,
no, they do.
Why couldn't I do that?
Yeah.
Like, what is it about you that couldn't do that? And I think just pushing on the constraints that you've placed on yourself, because I place those constraints. And I think that's what it was hard to realize, is that like I placed constraints on myself of what I could and couldn't do that just weren't real.
Yeah.
They just weren't real.
I think it's ironic because like I think about like, okay, like being single, right? Yeah. And it's just like, for me, that's like not really like,
it's not helpful.
It's not like a constraint. It kind of is. No, because it kind of got to the point where I was just like, wait, I don't know if there's like anyone. Yeah. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And like, totally. It's like, wait, do I even like deserve this? Like I'm living in this world where it's just like, well, if past equals future, then like it's not going to be me. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Like, like when is this going to happen for me? Like I'm not the one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think pushing on those constraints is huge.
Yeah.
It's also ironic because like, I feel like these are the times when you grow the most.
Totally.
It's like, these are like the moments where it's just like you look back on them a little bit sometimes, and sometimes you're not even out of it all the way. I'm not really sure. I don't know.
No, there's some things that are
it is it's one of those things where it's just like, no, you grow from the low points.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just ironic because like all of this growth that happens, it happens in these times, I feel like. And like, I feel like God just like is playing a sick joke on us. No, I'm serious. Where it's just like, it is just like, yeah, it's like a sick joke, but it's like, ironically, this is how you grow.
Yeah. Like you
reevaluate, to your point, like, sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. Reevaluating, like reconstructing yourself, reconstructing what you want, like understanding what matters, what doesn't actually matter, because like you grew up with all these social constructs and social constructs of yourself, and they're meant to be questioned. And I think like your life is meant to be chosen, and I don't know. It's just very interesting.
No, and I think, and I think like something that I do think we should call out here is that you can't erase things.
Yeah.
Like I can't, like no matter what you do, like you can't erase the fact that you're single and want to be married. You can't replace the fact that you are struggling with infertility, you want a child and you don't have a child. You can't erase like certain health things, like you can't erase.
Yeah.
And so I think like that's what's hard also about like doing something is, but then you still have to like take control of your life and be like, I own this life. Mm-hmm. This life is mine and I'm going to do something with it. And so I think doing something with it is like just what you have to do, And
I think it takes courage to like keep dreaming. That's the thing, that it's just like, even if stuff happens in your life that you don't want to happen, or your dreams have been crushed 50 times over again, I don't think life's meant to be without hope, without desires, without like wants, dreams, passions, etc. Mm-hmm. And so there's something about like standing back up, like dusting yourself off, and maybe it's a different dream.
Yeah.
Like, and does everything happen for a reason? I don't know. Do some things happen for a reason? Clearly. But dusting yourself up and getting back up there and getting to a spot where it's just like, no, I have hope for my life. Like I can dream.
Yeah. And just being like, I'm not jaded by this.
Yeah.
Like I think it's really easy. It's so easy to lose hope. It's the easiest thing to do. It's the whole apathy thing. Like you lose hope.
It's the apathy thing.
Yeah. It's just, and you just, again, live at a steady state because that's what you can handle.
And emotionally, that's what you can handle, honestly. It's just like, it's because it's so painful. Wanting something and not having it. That's what's so hard. It is so painful. But I think
hurts.
feeling that, it just really sucks.
No, like hoping is what opens yourself up to hurting.
Yeah.
And so that's why you stop hoping, is because you're like, I can't deal with his pain anymore.
But then if you don't hope, you just lose the light in life.
Yeah. It's not the actual solution to it.
No.
It's grief. But I saw this thing that was like, grief is a process that we need to lean into more, or that we need to not demonize so much.
Agreed.
Like someone was like, grief is the process of finding joy again.
Agreed.
Like if you don't go through that, like you're not going to be able to find joy again. And I think something I want to talk about, like with movement, is that typically when you're in the steady state, you just have like life as on autopilot.
Yeah.
And I think what's so common, and with everyone that I talk to, and even with myself, is that I feel like the next move I have to make needs to be like a perfect step, or that I need to have like really thought through plan. And I don't know if that's just the way that I am, or I feel like this is with everyone, but it's just so common that it's like, oh, I don't really know what I would do with my next step, like whatever that's going to be. And then also you're like waiting for the right time, the right place.
And you feel like it has to be perfect.
Oh, it has to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's like, so yeah, like you don't want to do anything imperfectly. And I just feel so strongly that that's incorrect. That's like literally wrong. If you are sitting there, wrong. And my problem, I hate perfectionism. The last few weeks I've been thinking about perfectionism is the enemy of everything good and of everything great. And I think what's hard is a lot of you are probably sitting there thinking like, no, like me being a perfectionist is just me because pushing myself to be great. Like my perfectionism just makes me be like a high achiever because I'm a perfectionist. And there's kind of like this self-protection thing that happens with perfectionism, where you try to brand it as you just being a high achiever or as you just trying to create quality products. But that is literally false. That's actually what perfectionism is. That's your perfectionism trying to protect itself from you. Perfectionism is the opposite of action. It's the opposite. Perfectionism doesn't push you to be great. It pushes you to be paralyzed. It pushes you to not make any future steps because you are too afraid of looking dumb, of failing, of doing anything halfway. And it's not even you're afraid of doing anything halfway. You're afraid of being judged, and you're afraid of judging yourself, and you're afraid of failing. And that is not moving forward. Perfectionism is literally the antithesis of everything and of all the movement you're supposed to be making in your life. And I think some people like sit there and disagree. Again, like people who are perfectionists, and I've sat there and been like, oh my gosh, like I just am a high achiever. No, you're afraid of failing.
You know what's so funny is we think we know what's right.
Yeah.
And so to your point, like we can't move unless it looks a certain way. The irony of all of this is like, how do you know? And so there's a Chinese proverb. Okay.
She's pulling out all the stops today.
It's called The Chinese Farmer. And basically, I'm going to read it to you and then let's discuss. And I think it ties in perfectly with this concept. So basically, a farmer's horse runs away. The neighbor says, how terrible. The farmer says, maybe. The next day, the horse returns with several wild horses. The neighbor says, how wonderful. The farmer says, maybe. Then the farmer's son tries to ride one of the wild horses, falls and breaks his leg. The neighbor says, how awful. The farmer says, maybe. Soon after, the army comes to recruit the young man for war, but the son is spared because of his broken leg. The neighbor says, how fortunate. The farmer says, maybe. So to the point, like we live in this world where like we look at decisions, actions, and like outcomes as like immediately what we're living in. And like to your point, like how can anything be perfect? How do we know whether it's perfect? Like we don't know whether it's perfect. We think it's perfect, like based off of the next like, I don't know, like 3 steps in our 10-step plan. But like, what if the best way to get to 10 is to go from 2 to 10, 2 to 8 to 10, not to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's just like you don't know, because we're like so quick to see the immediate effects.
Right.
Yeah, you're like, oh, 2 days after I see this, and it's like, no, we can't. We don't know. This hasn't been played out yet. Like, and we are so tied up in being right and wrong. Like it's like the little farmer's friend guy who kept being like, oh, this is great, and then being like, oh my gosh, this is so sad. And yet the farmer's like, we just don't know yet. We are living and loving life. Like we don't know yet. We're on a journey. And I think also having faith that you're going to figure it out along the way. And I think it's hard to honestly keep the faith in yourself because you're like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, and sometimes it's overwhelming feeling like you have to do like the perfect thing. It's so, you're right. It's like so hard. I was talking to my mentor last week and he's like, hey, have you seen Finding Nemo? Have you seen Finding Dory?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've seen Finding Nemo. I've never seen Finding Dory.
Yeah.
So basically he's like, okay, well, like in Finding Dory, there's Marlin. Right. And so like Marlin is like very like head, like with the head, like only makes decisions based off of like if it logically makes sense in the right moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Have you seen Finding Nemo?
I've seen Nemo.
Okay.
Not Dory.
But you know Marlene's character. Like very
the guy
like hesitant, like, okay, this has to make total sense. You have Dory on the other hand, who is just leads with the heart. Is like swimming around, like changes course like 50 times. And like the irony of it all is Dory gets hurt way more.
Yeah.
But she gets to the right answer faster. So
maybe that's a sign.
So like probably like you do need both of them, but like maybe like for me, oftentimes I feel like I like lead with the Marlene mentality where it's just like things have to make sense. It's X, Y, Z. It has to be like A, B, C, then D, then E, then F. And you know, sometimes there's value in being Dory.
Well, and I think also it's like, look, don't be dumb, obviously. Right. Like, I think there's like something to be said, like, don't be dumb. But yeah, it's so common that we try to turn off Dory, though.
I think that's my problem.
We want to be Marlene because Marlene makes the most logical sense.
Yeah.
Okay. But then all of a sudden you're Marlene, and 6 months later you're sad. You don't want to be like all of a sudden you've made decisions that actually don't align with your purpose, who you are, what you actually want. And so I think that's what's hard is you make decisions not based off of what you want, but what you think makes the most sense for someone who, as a third party actor, you would make that decision for yourself.
Yeah.
But it isn't actually what you want. And so then 6 months later, you're like, wait, I'm unhappy and I'm unfulfilled. Why? And it's like, well, shocking news, you're not Marlene.
Yeah.
You
are Marlene. You have been Marlene.
Yeah, no, you're pretending you're Marlene, you're ignoring Dory. And it's like, man, you just need to be both.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not robots.
Right.
No, yeah, I think I don't know how common it is to struggle with, but I feel like I do often struggle with like trying to make the most like logically right decision when sometimes it's like, okay, but what do you actually want?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, but what do you want to do? Not just like what's right, what makes sense. And like, those are questions that, you know, like things do need to at some point play out.
Right.
Like at some point, like push does come to shove a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
But also it's like, hey, how can I get these things to work together as opposed to work in opposition to each other?
You know, what's crazy is the right thing and the hardest thing are almost always the same.
But like, I just even think going back to the beginning of this where life didn't turn out how you want it to be. And it's really sad and it's really hard. And yeah, like we compare ourselves to other people, but like nobody's perfect and no life is perfect. And I think we can love imperfect things and you can have an imperfect life and still have a good life.
Totally.
Like it's just, your life is still great, even if it's not perfect, and you're not stuck. And I think that's like really where we want to leave it, is that you're not stuck where you are. Like if you had, like, you can figure something out because you're brilliant, you're smart, and you're here.
Yeah. And like, I really do think like everyone has a purpose. Everyone is unique. Like there is purpose to your life. And like, you need to believe that. You deserve to believe that. And the irony is we said in the thing, like sometimes it feels like life's just like a sick joke on us.
Yeah.
But I think it's like in those pivots where we do learn, grow, and like potentially we get to where we're like actually supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because maybe the idea that we had wasn't the right one.
Yeah. I love that.
I don't know.
And to quote J. Cole, there is no such thing as a life that's better than yours. And I believe that wholeheartedly.
It's true.
I saw this thing on Instagram that said, like, if everyone in the world put their life in a bucket and you had to choose someone else's life in the world or your own life, which would you choose? And it's like most people just would choose their own life because it's like, you know what? Like, I actually know what's going on here. And I think it was like a good recalibration of like, man, like, it's not that bad.
Yeah. And also like, you should choose your own life.
Yes.
Like get to a spot. I think maybe that's like the goal where it's like, no, get to the spot where it's like, no, I choose this. Like I choose what I have.
And also, I think learning how to make decisions that you choose.
Right.
Because then you can get to a place where it's like, no, I chose my life. Like all of the consequences and all of the whatever that I'm living is the result of the things that I chose and that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I think that it's really easy to make decisions for other people. And I think people make decisions for other people way more often than you think.
It's also so much easier, I feel like, to make decisions for other people.
Oh, so much easier. Then you don't have to like battle with your internal desires and like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to get into it. It's just like... Ugh. It's like, just tell me what you want me to do and we'll go from there.
Yeah, seriously.
And then also you're not accountable. So you're not a victim to your own life. And I think it also just like everything's going to be amazing. Like no matter what, like everything's going to be amazing. And holding on to that belief is sometimes really scary in a wild ride of life.
Yeah.
But
I just think it's, you just have to like really get there to where like you like really believe that.
Yeah.
I think that's when like your life changes.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's transformative.
Because it's like, yeah, sometimes like people can be like, yeah, you're going to be okay. And like in the moment where you're sad, but like,
Shut up.
I think the whole purpose is like being in that spot and then like literally just like rebirthing yourself to be like, no, everything is okay.
Yeah.
Like everything is amazing. I think there's like so much power and growth that comes from that.
And I think also like letting the pain transform you into a new person.
Yeah.
Like just like letting yourself be transformed. And so yeah, just like, I just want to say, if you're out there and you're sitting like, man, I have some really hard stuff going on, we see you. And same, honestly. Like everyone has that. And sometimes it's hard because it's like, yeah, everyone has it hard, but I also have it hard. But yeah, like,
yeah, don't give up.
no, don't give up. And your pain is really real. And also your happiness will be really real too on the other side. And I think hold on to that. Anyways, is that all we have?
I think that's all we have. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yes.
We so love and appreciate you.
And we will see you tomorrow for our pop culture rundown, a much lighter episode, one might say. Anyways, love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.